Oh yeah, y'all already know what time it is. You know what's going on. I'm your host Cam Silver,
I'm your co-host Kyle Silver.
and welcome back to another episode of the Silver Boys Podcast. Oh, Kyle, it
Talk to
finally
me.
finally happened. The NFL season has officially kicked off. The Hall of Fame game was kicked off between the Chargers and the Lions, with the Chargers coming out on top. Uh, Yeah, just good just to see those guys back in pads, and I know that they're happy hitting somebody else other than each other, right? So
Nah, yeah, most definitely, most definitely. It was nice to see just, that pig skiing as we call it, get thrown through the air and whatnot. So I was excited from now until February. Every week we get football. So, that kicks off a great, you know what I'm saying? A great year of NFL football coming through right now. So, yeah, I was excited just to see somebody hit somebody, honestly.
yeah. It was just cool to see the guys get back out there and get after it.
Yes, definitely. If it was nice to see Dan Campbell on screen again, you know what I mean? So that's my guy. That's my guy.
Good to see Harbaugh and everybody. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
But before, actually, like right before that game kicked off, we got some breaking news. So Terry McLaurin requested a trade from the Commanders. So, over this offseason, he's been trying to get a new deal done. He's on the last of this of the current deal that he's on. He's on his last year, and he wants to get a new deal. He feels like he should be paid more, which he should. But Commanders just have not been, I guess they haven't been cooperating, or maybe the deal just doesn't look right. But he has requested a trade. Teams have teams have wanted to make a move on him, but
Mhm.
the Commanders have still shown no interest in moving him. So making this very now we're at a very interesting point.
Very much so. This is like a standstill almost. Um, I'm sad to see that Scary Terry he wants to trade. He requested a trade or just trying to like look elsewhere. But if they don't make dollars, they don't make sense. Definitely. So just because of where we've seen the Commanders going up on the up and up and seeing their progression and where they're gonna go. Scary Terry I thought would be a part of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so whatever team he goes to, he's going to be a difference maker. We know that. Hopefully, he gets to a team that has a great quarterback. You know what I mean? So he could feel used. And feel like he's getting the most out of his dollars, and the team is getting the most out of their dollars and him and the player as well too. Um, but yeah, we just gonna have to wait and see where he goes. Like I said, just a little bit sad, definitely, because I would have thought he would have been the last person to, you know what I mean, try and request a trade. But like I said, you got to make your money at the same time, and if a deal hasn't been reached, what's the point in waiting when when there is a team out there that's going to, pay you right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, eh, I want him to stay. I hope he stays. I don't want
Hmm.
this request to go through. I'm very interested to see how the Commanders and the front office, how they will start approaching this. Maybe this will get them, maybe sometime, because for the most part, when these guys request trades, sometimes for the most part, it's just a bluff, just to get them back at the table so that
Yeah.
they don't have to leave, right? The last few guys I know, like T. Higgins, Debo Samuel, and then there was somebody else. They've all tried to request trades, and they ended up leading to them being signed back, or it did end up leading them signing somewhere else. So yeah, no, for McLaurin, I hope that he stays. He's clearly the number one guy. Other guys on that team are okay. Like they have Deebo Samuel, they have Michael Gallup, Noah Brown, they have KJ Osborne, but you need Terry McLaurin.
I was about to say you need a bona fide number one, and Debo can be a number one, but it's just I don't know.
He's
It would have been easier, I think, for Scary Terry to still be on that team. It would be easier for Debo. Hold on, now I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. As a Giants fan, I hope he leaves, brother. Just get out. Yeah, hey, bye, bye. Or maybe we'll sign him. I don't care. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna just say that as a Giants fan. Nah, he should leave. He should leave. I take everything I just said back. Well, bye, bye.
I
It's
understand
yeah.
that. I understand that. Yes, as a Giants fan, I would expect you to want him to go, but
Yes.
yeah, it would leave Washington in a very tight situation because, like I said, as I read off some of those names, they don't really have a bona fide number one. Like you said, Debo can be a number one, but he's too much more of a gadget guy. They like to move.
Yeah,
You can move him around a lot. You could put him in the slot outside the numbers. You could put him with in the backfield. So yeah, a guy like him can't really be a number one because there are going to be too many eyes on him at all
exactly,
in too
exactly.
many different places. Unlike Terry McLaurin, where you could put him in the slot and you could put him on the outside of numbers, but you know exactly what he's gonna do and what he brings to the table.
Very much so. I mean, I agree with everything that you're saying. Um, we got if there's a if there the season it started. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see like where he's able to go, where he's able to fit. Not honestly, get his behind out of Washington, bro. Yeah, 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 yeah. He no good for them there. He no good for them.
I'm more interested to see the teams that have been thinking about calling and what do they have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, because at that point, you would, I would expect the Commanders, if they were to actually start engaging in these offers, I would expect them to be like, okay, well, we need another number one or at least a high number two wide receiver. So somebody's gonna have to give us something for Debo.
And it's also like for Terry. Um, it's also it's just it feels so late, you know.
Yeah,
um to not get a deal done and to now be engaging with other teams for in trade talks or trying to just get the most out of the piece that you have with Scary Terry. It just I don't know, it feels late right now. Also, it's like, damn, y'all couldn't get a deal done yet, you know.
we could say that about two other guys in Trey Hendrickson and Michael Parsons. So
Very much so, very much so. Like, how do y'all not get a deal done yet? You know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
like, what's the priority here in terms of the team? You know, what are
yeah,
y'all looking to get accomplished? What are y'all looking to get done
and it's
at this
funny,
point in the season, about to start almost?
right? And it's funny because looking at all three of them, they're all three pieces that all three of these teams need.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin is needed in Washington. Trey Hendrickson is literally the only bright star, the bright spot on that Bengals defense. Everybody and their mama knows what Michael Parsons means to the Cowboys.
Hmm.
So plain and simple with that for all three of those guys. So yeah, that's just one of those things that you I didn't really see it coming, but I wasn't surprised that they announced it.
Hmm. Like I said, I thought that would be somebody that Commanders would do anything in their power to keep. But sometimes maybe he's just asking for too much, and the Commanders are like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We're not willing to pay. We're not willing to pay you, at this amount because we just don't think that you're worth it at said amount.
right,
So it's negotiations at the end of the day. Everybody, the best negotiation is when both sides feel like they lost and they
right.
could have got more.
Mhm.
So when that happens, and which again, as a Giants fan, I kind of hope it doesn't, but as a football fan, I do hope he stays just because of that progression that Washington has been on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like you said, we will wait and see.
Yeah, definitely.
But like we announced with football being back, here comes back our divisional previews. So this week will be AFC South and the AFC West, and then after that, we'll get into the rest of the AFC teams, and then in a couple weeks after that, we'll start getting into the NFC teams.
Hey, yo, third time, you know what I'm saying? Third time we've done this, So
Yeah.
hey, that's what's up. That's what's
Yeah.
up.
Come on. I love this tradition.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Me as well. Me as well.
All right, so let's start off in the AFC South
Right.
with the Houston Texans. So last season, they kind of took a step back, in my opinion. CJ Stroud was pressured a lot, 38 in the 38.6% of his dropbacks. He was pressured on, third most in the NFL. Also, he was sacked 52 times, which is the second most in the NFL. They did revamp that O-line, added in guys like Cam Robinson, Trent Brown, and Lincoln Tomlinson, and also trading for Ed Ingram. And they also have a new offensive coordinator in Nick Caley. So very interested to see what that offense is going to look like. Also, Will Anderson Jr. People were looking for him to make another big step. He had 11 sacks this past season, 10th. I think it was tied for 10th or 10th alone in the whole NFL, and he is ranked among the top 10 pass rushers among league execs, scouts, and coaches. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we gonna see what Houston is able to do. Definitely. With the great first year that CJ Stroud was able to have, and then like you said that they took a step back. This past year. So I don't really have much to say about Houston. Honestly, I need to see more progression. I need to see um how I want to see CJ Stroud be more comfortable in that pocket. I want
right.
to see him be more protected in that pocket because, being pressured, 38.6% of the time is something that you said, right?
Yep.
That just can't, that's a high number, 40, damn near 40%. Um,
And also being
so
sacked 52 times.
yeah, and being sacked second most times, that don't do nothing for any quarterback. You ain't gonna last long in this league if you getting sacked 52 times, which and it's not even a fault of his own. I feel like most of those. So we gonna wait and see. We gonna see how he acts and how he's able to play because there definitely is I'm not gonna say Super Bowl contender just yet, but they knocking on the door. I will
Yeah.
say that.
I think something that we've all noticed since last year when CJ came in is that they were almost immediately a threat to make deep runs and
Exactly.
upset teams.
They're a second round team. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or even just
Conference.
a
Mhm.
conference team. Like they could very well be that because of CJ Stroud.
Right.
Um, and look where they got when he was sacked 52 times. So just go protect the man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we gonna see. We gonna see.
Yeah. So Texans, like we said, we'll see if they can start making some noise. The Colts. The big thing for them right now is the quarterback battle between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. Anthony Richardson over the first two seasons, only completed 50%, a little over 50% of his passes. And as we all know, Daniel Jones got cut from the Giants in the middle of last season. Then after that, went off to Vikings, and now he is with the Colts trying to revamp up his career. The running back position for the Colts was a little scarce, only Jonathan Taylor, but Jonathan Taylor does have a history of injuries, so once the running game kind of slowed down, so did the rest of the team. That's
Yeah.
why they signed Khalil Herbert and they drafted DJ Giddens from Kansas State. Another one of my favorite rookies that they drafted was Tyler Warren, the tight end. He could do it all. He could run in the backfield. He could catch. He could block. He could do everything. So. Um, I'm just very interested to see what the quarterback battle is honestly going to look like with this team. Um, Andy Richardson came in with so much hype, but
So much. So
I
much.
I personally said this when he first came in. I thought it was a little too early for him to come in
I remember.
soon. He was raw, very talented, but very raw. He didn't really go through his progressions a lot, kind of climbed out of the pocket a lot. So very interested to see that, and then I'm interested to see if Daniel Jones can just take in the veteran leadership that he had from the Giants and some of the stuff that he probably learned up with the Vikings, and can he apply
Mhm.
it here to Indianapolis, and could that make him an upset bid to be the starting quarterback in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I mean, wow, I don't even know what to say about Daniel Jones, honestly. I'm glad he out my blue jersey. You feel me?
PTSD from a Giants fan.
No, wait a minute. Oh, it's just like, oh Jesus, you said his name and all that. Oh goodness. I gotta get back into this. All right. We back. Damn, if Anthony Richardson loses his starting job to Daniel Jones, we have a problem. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care about no veteran leadership. No. I don't care how raw he is. I don't, you know what I mean? No. We knew the prospect, and we knew the talent that just it's that surrounds this dude. Like you were out here championing him on this podcast for him.
Yeah,
Um, and we've seen a lot of just raw rookie mistakes, and I'm gonna say a tier under rookie, just because of how new it feels like he is to all of this, in comparison to somebody like how we seen CJ Stroud in his rookie year, how we
right.
seen
Aiden.
Jaden in his rookie year. Yes. So a completely different type of progression, with those two quarterbacks versus him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but again, I don't care what nobody says. If he can't lose his starting job to Daniel Jones, dog, unless he's injured like that. No, just no.
You know,
He cannot allow that,
it
because
would
if that happens, you lost all confidence and you lost all faith in your team, more than anything else. That's to me, because we done seen what Daniel Jones could do, brother, and it ain't
Mhm.
much. You feel me? So, oh Lord, I got PTSD again. Um, with Jonathan Taylor again, like that's somebody who's just a workhorse. So I like how you said, like, they got homeboy from Kansas State. So hopefully it just adds a new dimension to their running game, and they don't have to rely so heavily on a Jonathan Taylor. But I mean, he's just that dude. He is that guy. But the team slowed down when Jonathan Taylor isn't out there. The team is not. They're not Indianapolis Colts no more without JT.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that was like I said, the quarterback battle is just it's gonna be something I feel like everybody's gonna have all their eyes on because you couldn't have told me by year three that we're gonna sit here talking about a quarterback battle with Anthony Richardson. But it's like he's had these lapses in leadership, like that one game where he tapped
Yeah,
his helmet, he tapped his chest or he tapped his helmet or whatever, and he left out the
Abs came
game
out the
because he was
game. Yeah,
tired. Like, you can't do stuff like that.
yeah, we dedicated an entire damn podcast to that one.
To
Like,
that
you know
one.
what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
we dedicated a whole episode to that.
Hmm.
But yeah, like it's just things like that where I think the front office was probably scratching their head and they said, "Well, we got to get somebody." And Daniel Jones was the next closest guy. And Daniel Jones for me is one of those people where he has to be in the right system in order for him to really succeed. He can't be the system like some of these
Yeah.
other
Oh.
quarterbacks. You know what I mean? He can't like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Lamar Jackson. He can't be the system. He has to be in the right system. That's a bar for everybody. That's
Boy, ooh, I got goosebumps. Yo, clip that, clip that,
will do, will
clip
do.
that.
Moving on to Jacksonville. So obviously everybody's excited for you know who, Travis Hunter, two-way star. It's very interesting to see how they will split his reps between corner and wide receiver. From what I know in the spring, he spent most time with the offense because the offense is a lot more complex than it is to play defense. So like I said, I'm just very interested to see how they will split that up. I think he'll play defense a little more. And then especially like certain teams that they'll play against, for like example, week two they had the Bengals. I will see him playing defense a little more, matching them against Jamar Chase and the T. Higgins, those type of guys.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And
yo, boy,
yeah,
I got goosebumps
your
again,
second week talking
boy.
about him welcome to the league, right?
Yo, you gotta play against T. Higgins, and you lining up on the other side of Jamar Chase, bro.
Mhm.
But that's what makes Travis so special, is he's willing to take on that challenge.
Yeah, yeah,
And also something I want to address with Travis, and like, because I think it's important when we talk about Jacksonville, is like, his antics, and like, how there's a lot of stuff going around, like, how we see the clips of him dancing on the field and stuff like that, and you can see his teammates are like, yo, you got to take this more seriously. um I think that that's just part of who he is, to be a little bit kiddish and be a little bit more joking
right.
about certain things. But what I do know and I do trust is he's still going to be a difference maker on the defensive end and on the offensive end too. And it's very much what I love about now this him being in the NFL, is the fact that, certain teams in certain games, he's going to be getting more reps either on the defensive end or the offensive end. It's just about finding him in the right spots on both sides,
Yeah,
putting him in the right spots, I should say. Um, and I'm real interested to see like what that defense is gonna look like with him on it. And I'm interested to see how many reps he's going to be able to do. He was playing what 100 snaps plus in college,
Yeah,
so. So I'm interested to see if they're gonna keep that up. Are we gonna keep that at a nice cool 50 to 75? Like, you know what I mean? But I guess that's what I'm gonna take it as that could be a week to week thing, genuinely.
right.
And whatever that they're prepping for, whatever they're planning for against whatever team. But damn, week two, I'm actually very happy you said that because that is a game that we all have to watch.
Hmm.
Just because of Jamar Chase and T Higgins going up against somebody like him and the difference maker that he can be on defense.
Right, yeah. Um, just continuing on with Jacksonville, they got a new head coach in Liam Cohen. Cohen
Mhm.
was offensive coordinator at Tampa for 1 year. He helped change that Tampa offense completely. Tampa went from being last in rushing to fourth in rushing in just 1 year. He also helped Baker Mayfield set career highs in passing with over 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns.
Mhm.
So, very interested to see if there can be a lot more consistency with Trevor Lawrence. They also have basically a brand new offensive line. So very interested, like I said, to see what Trevor Lawrence can do because another one that came in with a lot of hype that they're
Yeah,
comparing to Hall of Famers already.
yeah.
He has nowhere near lived up to any of the expectations.
Nowhere near that boy he can't even deliver food there, right? You feel me? Like no, just no. He's been very disappointing to say the least. So we gonna see what happens with him. I think obviously it's all just surrounding around Travis at this point.
Yeah. The Titans, this is pretty simple. Cam Ward, that's the one that we're all looking for. He was supposed to be in uh, a quarterback battle with Will Levis, but Will Levis
Mhm.
ended up having season-ending surgery on his shoulder. So yes, Cam Ward will be the guy. He does have good receivers with him, such as guys like Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett. So uh, uh, I'm interested to see just Cam Ward. I just want to see his progression throughout the season and see if he could turn this Tennessee Titans franchise around.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. I think we judge quarterbacks on how fast that they can make a difference on their team, especially coming into the league so early. Um, and so I agree with you. I think just the most important thing is just to see Cam Warren what he's able to do. Hooking up with guys like Tyler Lockett. So. Yeah, I mean, all I'm gonna say is we gotta wait and see because that's all I can say. Tennessee is like one of those teams where it's like if they don't got a good quarterback and if they don't have the pieces around them, what's the point? If that makes sense, you know?
Right.
Feel
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Moving on to the AFC West now.
Okay.
To the Broncos. Bo Nix had a pretty good first year. Getting the Broncos to the playoffs since for the first time since Super Bowl 50.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy, right? They were able to sign Evan Ingram, the tight end, this offseason. They still have guys like Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims Jr., and Troy Franklin as their wideouts on defense. Arguably the best cornerback in football, and Pat Surtain, the second, is still there. They picked up Dre Greenlaw from San Fran, which was
Mhm.
pretty huge. So yeah, they're just looking to build off of their playoff appearance coming in, and yeah, I like where this team is at.
I very much like where his team is at, even from the end of last year. Sean Payton definitely getting that team right, getting that franchise right.
Hmm.
He had some rocky moments but even before last season, rocky moments. But having to do like Bo Nix, his guy, like you know what I mean, and somebody that he wanted, and for Bo Nix to be able to go in there, make a change, that defense is just superb. That defense is stellar. It's one of the best defenses in the league right now. So I could see them again. I could see them winning a playoff game this year and making some noise. I could very well see them making some big noise and giving a lot of teams a lot of problems. Definitely.
Yeah, same. Chiefs, shoot, they used their first round draft pick on drafting a left tackle, which they needed.
Hmm.
badly, and Josh Simmons out of Ohio State after Mahomes was sacked 36 times, most out of any season that he's had since coming into the league. They also signed Jalen Moore as well to be a backup, or maybe if Josh Simmons isn't ready, then Jalen Moore will step in. They still have big time receivers like Rasheed Rice and Hollywood Brown, hoping that they can get back to those big time plays that we were all accustomed to watching. And also, the defense took a bit of a step back. Chris Jones only had 5 sacks, which was the lowest since his rookie
Hmm.
season, but he did have 26 quarterback pressures, which was the
Okay.
most among defensive tackles. And they've also signed, they also, like we said, the extension with George Kalafkis, and they drafted two more D linemen coming out of college in the second and third round. So, yeah, just looking for, the Chiefs to stay the Chiefs and to just keep improving, somehow flip that switch and get back to the team that they used to be.
Yeah, I second everything that you're saying, especially when it comes to a guy like Travis Kelce on that team too, who, felt like, and I know he for a fact he did have, one of his worst seasons, last year. So I mean, I'm very interested to see how ball in he's gonna be, like, you know what I mean? How much more they could get the balls in, but obviously he is a focus point for any team on the defensive end, going up against the Chiefs. But like, do I really need to say more, bro? Like, if you got 1-5, yo, you're good. You going to the Super Bowl at least. Like, you feel me?
Yeah, no, the Chiefs, as long, like you said, as long as they got 1-5, it's really conference championship more than anything.
Exactly, exactly.
That's what it really is. So,
You got 1-5 and Andy Reid. Like, I don't need to say more.
yeah, no, it's self-explanatory at that point, right?
It really is, yo. It's like old school Golden State. Like, you know
Yep,
what I'm
yep.
saying? Like, it's like really okay. They'll be
Um,
fine.
see, we only got a couple more minutes left, but we should still be able to close out pretty well. The Raiders, they were able to get on board new head coach Pete Carroll. They got a new quarterback in Geno Smith.
Hmm.
Got a new running back in Ashton Genty. They got a new
Hmm.
offensive coordinator in Chip Kelly. Everything is brand new. It's shiny. It's clean. Vegas is looking good. They also still have Brock Bowers, who's coming off a very strong rookie season. Jacoby Myers, who's coming off of a career year so far, and he's coming up on a contract year. So I expect those numbers to go up a little bit too. And also, per usual, Max Crosby holding it down on the defensive end still. Watch out for this Raiders team, everybody.
Yo,
I'll tell you. I'll just tell you that.
I mean, this Raiders team is on paper is scary, boy.
Yeah.
Especially Geno Smith, a vet like him, going finding a guy like Brock Bowers, who probably had one of the best tight end rookie seasons. Like,
Ever.
you like what?
Yeah.
What? Pete Carroll, and you got Chip Kelly. Like you said, it's shiny, it's new, it's flaunting. They in Vegas. They probably feeling real good about themselves and whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be all right. I'm interested to see what Vegas. I'm gonna keep a close eye on them this year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Most def. Coming down to our last team, the Los Angeles Chargers. Will this be the year that Herbert finally finds some playoff success after the last two losses have been literally the worst losses in franchise history? Um, on offense, they were very inconsistent, a lot of drop passes, a lot of stalled drives. That's why they used 5 of their 9 picks in the draft this year to focus on their offense, including running back Omarion Hampton, which everybody knows Harbaugh. He loves to run that ball.
Mhm.
He gonna run that ball. And ain't no and ifs or buts about it. It's just gonna happen. On the defensive end, they still have guys like Darren James Jr., Khalil Mack, Bud Dupree. So they're still holding it down well on the defensive end. But yeah, if this offense can start clicking, then who knows?
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with Harbaugh and them. I would love for Justin Herbert to, take the next big leap, that next big step when it comes to, actually just getting it done for your team, winning a playoff game at least, just to show everybody like, okay, you can do it, it can be done. I think is the most important thing to show, and to just for even for himself as well too,
Right.
just to make it feel like all this effort and all of this good stuff ain't for nothing. So I'm interested. I'm very interested to see what the Chargers are going to be able to do. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. I mean, I don't really have that much to say, just because they just been stagnant. It feels like, and they've just plateaued, and it still feels like they're just here.
They're
You
yeah,
know?
Yeah, they're
There's no ups and there's no downs realistically. Like you feel me?
it's been like this since Herbert kind of came in. They've
It,
been a wild card team, and that's really it.
that's their ceiling is and I need I need them to prove me wrong. Like that's their ceiling is
Yeah,
a wild card team. Like you know what I mean?
yeah, and that's what I'm looking for too. I love Justin Herbert. I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah,
He's a lot of potential, but the only thing is he hasn't been showing that potential consistently, and it hasn't come in the spots that you need him to show it.
yeah, very much so,
So
very much so. And that's what he needs to prove now. That's what he
yeah,
needs to prove now.
yeah. But that is our episode for this week. Beautiful episode. That was a
Chef's
good.
kiss, chef's kiss, dude. Hmm.
But I hope you guys enjoyed just as much as we did. Come back next week as we will have more AFC previews coming up and then whatever breaking news that we got going on too. So yeah, other than that, I'm your host Cam Silver
I'm your co-host Kyle Silver.
and this is the Silver Boys.
Thank you, thank you.